the spark in our bonfire hearts. This world is getting colder, strangers passing by. No one offers you a shoulder.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Wait a minute. There I am. It's like my screen covers off and everything. So, question for you. How can I be of best service? What's one challenge you're facing? One challenge you're facing right now that if you could develop the skills, the talent, the courage to overcome, what would that be? What's the one skill or challenge you need right now?
That's the question.
What's that? The question is what one skill or talent do you need right now to help grow your business? And for those of you that don't know or aren't responding, unless you're driving heavy equipment, you've got some serious issues, because you should know what skill or talent you're working on. If not, you're not pushing yourself. Just saying, this is your loving, caring, big huggable guy that's saying enough is enough. You got to make some moves.
Well, I need to be more consistent and reach out to more people.
Okay, so what would be the audience you would reach out to? Who do you want to reach out to?
Well, depends of what I'm what I'm selling.
Okay, so that's
so the audience at this point today is people that want to travel.
Okay.
And people that want to learn German. That is, yes.
Okay, so there's probably a bigger audience of people who want to travel. And I say that because German is a very niche. It's there's nothing wrong with it. So the question is why do people, so let me ask you this. Why do people want to travel?
Why do they want to travel? They want to have a good time. They want to see other countries. They may want to visit their relatives.
Okay.
They may travel for business. They're excited to see other countries, history. Some people are into seeing historical sites. Many different things, I think.
So there's
there's
about a dozen things you've just talked about that you can post about. Who's looking for a historical trip to learn more about history? That's it. Who wants to take that trip to go back into history and to learn about our past? Who's got that bug? Who's got the history bug? Who's got a family reunion coming up they really need to schedule for their travel for? And that's going to be over and over, because the algorithms of you posting who's a history buff and wants to go back in time, that algorithm, those characters on your post are not part of your algorithm. So they don't know how to get out to the audience. So you're going to have to post it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, maybe same words, different color in the background, a pink, a purple. I would Google and find out what's the color that people love to see when they travel. It's probably that teal blue, right? Like the ocean, the color of the ocean. I would do some Googling on some images of international travel. What does it look like? What does the beaches look like in Fiji? What does the buildings look like in Dubai?
I have all those pictures.
I know, but I'm saying post those things.
Post the pictures or post the questions?
We'll post the picture with the question overlaid over. Put the text over top of the picture. And if you have Canva, right, you can bleed out the background. You can make it softer. You can make it more transparent so that the writing shows up. But have the images in the background so you're creating that secondary image, that secondary awareness. Because the one thing is to have the words, right, and then the visual. And if you can add music, I think you can start to add music now to Facebook posts.
Yeah, you can.
Yep. So then the question is I would go Google and I would do science research, and very simple. What are the frequencies? What are the sounds that most equate to travel?
That's funny. You were right. I just put it in ChatGPT and it says blue, turquoise, agua gold, warm sunset colors, green, black, and bonus is white.
So when you look at some of your pictures, some of your personal pictures, they're usually there's the blue background, there's this background. If you're at a restaurant, that doesn't fit the travel restaurant. That just says, oh, you've gone places I've never gone. In their head, I know you're offering them to say, I've been there, I've done that. Those are credibility pictures. You can post those. The key is how do you have those colors that instill image, that those images that instill travel, that I can do it, that I want to go do it. And the reason is because the sky is blue and the grass is green. Those are the most comforting primary colors that exist. That's why God made the sky blue and the grass green. So I would do that. I would offer you that suggestion is who's going back in history, and maybe you have the wall, the Wailing Wall in Israel, in Jerusalem. You have the temple or Mount Sinai.
Anybody going there anytime soon, but
well, so maybe you have the Green Hills of Ireland. You have the busy streets of Hong Kong, right? Whatever it is. So that would be my suggestion. So if to reach out to more people. So now the question is to reach out to more people. You can do outbound to get inbound, or you can actually do the DM. So I would say reach out to 2 people a day.
And what would
I know
what if 2 people a day? Certainly probably not enough. But
yeah, but it's probably it's if you did 14 in the next 7 days, it's probably more than you did in the last 2 days. So what I'm saying is that you said consistency. So start with a number you can absolutely do. We set these numbers. Well, I need to do 50 a day. I need to do 20 a day. And you'll do 20 one day, and then you won't do any. This is not you. I'm not saying you editorially you. Then the person says, now I did it for a couple of days and nobody responded. You're not going to get any response. You have to start the ball rolling, your energy, your frequency. So what I would say is, hey, listen, I found the travel company for the US. That's what I would say. What did you find? And for those that don't want travel, they're not going to respond. So you're going to just find those people. If they're not warm market, or the people that you've already said
that said that in the DM, what would you put in the DM?
Hey, listen, I'm excited. I just found a company that's doing some amazing travel in the globally. They now have a US office. Let me know if you want to get discounts or savings, if you want big savings on your next travel adventure. That's it. Nobody's traveling this week. They might be, and those are the people that are going to be really excited to talk to you, but nobody's traveling this week. They may be traveling in a couple of weeks, but nobody's traveling this week. So
probably many people traveling this week because it's summertime.
So they've already booked their travel, and then whatever. So my point is that you have to start to build your we call it the pipeline, right? You know the pipeline. We got to build the pipeline. We got to build the funnel. We got to start getting people into the funnel. So what's the giveaway that you would have? What's the teaser that you would have? The 7 tips of why Clear makes good sense. The thing you get at the airport that they read your retina and does all that stuff. Or what are the 5 easiest ways to get through TSA? Does it make sense to be part of the what do they call them? The Admirals Club, the boarding lounges. Does it make sense to be part of the boarding lounges? You can ask ChatGPT and say, give me 5 reasons why it makes sense to be a part of the boarding lounges, to pay that fee for the airlines. It'll give it to you. You don't care whether anybody's a part of American or Delta or this or that, just why you want people to start to see it, not just as, oh, she's always about travel. What's the services that you've experienced, that you've gone through, that you could say, here's some tips I've had from my international travels. Right? There was a time when you would go through Heathrow, you were not allowed to fly through Terminal 5. If your plane went through Terminal 5, your company wouldn't pay for your ticket because of the baggage problem.
I I never went to Heathrow after I was 14 and had the baggage problem. I have avoided it ever since my entire career in flying. Can you even imagine that?
No, I can't. That's
I
pretty
have
specific.
not flown British Air, neither have I returned ever to Heathrow Airport.
Okay. So then that would be a thing. What are the alternatives to Heathrow?
I think it's gotten better now, but I've heard I still hear people complain.
But that would be something I would offer. I had an issue when I was a young teenager. I won't fly back through Heathrow. Here's the 6 alternatives or the 2 alternatives to Heathrow, to flying through Heathrow.
Yeah, and also people have to understand, and most people probably know this, but this is a good one, that if you change planes, if you have to change planes in the country that is going to be country of your destination, you have to pick up your luggage in the first place you fly into.
Yes.
And you have to pick it up, you have to go through customs, and you have to recheck it. I think a lot of people may not know this. I always think this is a good, because sometimes airlines don't tell you this. And this was the issue, apparently, that I hadn't been told when I was 14 years old and flying by myself. I had not been told that. Had I been told that, that would have been a different story. But I know sometimes I ask, but I do know that that is usually, the thing you have to do.
Yep.
The
So
process.
those would be my suggestions to reach out to more people. You could, that's something, again, you can do. You can start making up the memes and the things and have them available, download them to your phone and be able to post them out, and then have some tips or hacks, right? Or what I guess hacks is the term that they use. Tips or hacks for travel, international travel or domestic travel. And I would have 2 1-pagers that you could send from your phone, stored in the files on your phone, so that if you get somebody while you're out and you see them ping you and a DM, you can send it right away. And that would be the thing I would work on to start reaching out to more people right now. And then keep track of them. Find a way to keep track of them. If you don't have an email list, find a way to have them send you an email, do the survey. I've got a survey on travel, tips and hacks for travel survey. Do you qualify for wholesale pricing? That would be one that people would be curious about. What do you mean, do I qualify for wholesale pricing? Well, do you take a trip a year? Yeah, then you should probably get that at a discount, shouldn't you? Right? So you might do a survey of, do you travel international? And then you're developing a profile on them, so that when there's specials or promotions that come up based upon their profile, and you can sort them and put them into a particular profile and go from there.
How do you keep track of people?
I have an email list and I tag them.
Well, but I mean, not. You have everybody in one list.
I have 6,000. I have 6,000 people in a list, and in that list, because of how they came into my list, whether they came into the Daily Awakening or to the Mark Victor Hansen call, or the Les Brown call, or the Kyle Wilson call, and I have them tagged to how they arrived into my stream. And then if I send out emails and there's a link for them to download something, watch a video, they get tagged with that. So I'll have people in my email list that'll have 20, 30 tags to them, that when I say, I want people who have this tag, boom, it gives me the list of all of those people that have that tag.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good way. But
And you can do that in a variety of ways.
Yeah, but you have to set that all up, I take it.
Well, it's easy. In that email thing we were doing, Kit, the other day, you can add tags to any place where somebody comes and puts their name and email address. You can do my first tripwire. That could be the tag. And then in the future, anybody who came in through that first tripwire, hey, listen, I wanted to thank you for being one of the first people to join my list. Oh, wow, they remembered me. That's why you use an email list or
Yeah.
some kind of tagging device. You can do it manually. I'd rather do it automatically.
Yeah, I only use an email list for my German, but I do it manually, and it's a lot of work because I don't have I no longer have an autoresponder.
So that's the ways to it's either manually or automatically, and you can use things like lead pages. My Kartra, they have the ability to do it. They've got different levels. We've got I think they call it the silver level. No, maybe at the silver, gold, and platinum level. If you have more than 5,000 emails, you're at the gold level. I think that's where I know I'm definitely at that. It's 200 a month and that's the website and all of the pages and all of the different things and all of the memberships and all of these different places that I have. That's all underneath that one umbrella, the Kartra account.
But is that the service you're using?
Yes. Yep.
And how much you pay for that a month?
It's at the level that I'm at. It's normally 197 or 119 for the beginners, up to 5,000 emails, and then above 5,000 to I think 50,000 is 220 a month.
So it goes by how many emails you have.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that
Doesn't matter how many pages you make, but I must have 600 pages, website pages, whether it be my Sean G. Murphy that has 15 pages or the Nest site that's now being created that already has 30 pages. It doesn't matter how many pages I have. They base it on emails.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else? Questions, comments, thoughts? What skill, talent, or ability are you looking for? Amber Swally in the house.
I'm trying to find a headset so I can ask my question without you all hearing my children.
But we don't hear them right now. I mean,
Well,
they're not in the
that's because
background.
I started talking and
I know what so that
so I would love to learn how to ask better questions.
Love it.
So potential clients know if I'm a good fit for them and or for compliance. Oh, thank you, Jordan. These are a little big.
Those are
Hey,
good.
buddy.
You can hear the sniper sneaking up on you in the games. So the way to ask better questions is to find out if you're to ask in the right field. And what I mean by that, here's the image that popped up into my head. Do you know a little bit about baseball?
But
Would you go to church and ask about baseball? Is
Nope.
that the place? So that's what happens. We're asking baseball questions to people who are in church, or we're asking church questions to people who are in a baseball stadium. We have to narrow them down. So the easiest way to ask better questions is to have them create the question themselves. And the way we do that, the way my brain works, is when they say a statement is only a fact if it answers a question in the brain. Their brain is constantly looking for a statement, for a fact, for an answer. So if they give you a fact, you're just having a conversation. So how's your weight been? Well, I've been struggling with my weight a little bit. So the question of how's your weight been forces them to go into this whole repertoire of content that has nothing to do with how's your weight been. They're telling you how they've struggled or this, that, or the other, which then allows you to lead the question. What do you think is the biggest criteria that makes you a good fit for your clients? If they were to say, the reason I go to Amber is because fill in the blank.
What first popped into my mind is she listens.
Okay. So maybe the question then is, how do you feel when your practitioner doesn't really hear what it is you want? You're polarizing them. That you're leveraging yourself and you're polarizing them against where there's a good chance that they've not heard. If they like because you listen, let me ask you, have you ever worked with somebody that doesn't listen to you? Doesn't that fire up the polarization? Oh my gosh, yes, that just annoys me. So let's talk about that for a second, because no matter what the protocol is, or the procedure is, or the process is, or the suggestions are, if you can't hear them, or if you're not being heard, you're probably not getting the best results, right? So would it be okay if I asked you a lot of questions so I could truly listen to you? I'm not being investigative I'm being curious, but it's really, this is the way for me to best hear you, is to ask questions that I think I hear it, but I need a little bit more detail. Would you be okay with sharing more detail with me? Would that be okay if you truly felt you were being listened to?
That gets me all excited.
Right? So
Love it.
the key is that so what's another reason people work with you?
They get results.
So when you look at results, Mr. or Mrs. Potential Client, how fast do you want results? I mean, I know everybody wants it like the microwave yesterday, but do you want results that are short-term or long-term? Let's just start there. And so now you start speaking about there's always the binary. It's always a binary. It's always this or that, or this or that, or there is no gray area. They'll talk in the gray area because they lack confidence. They don't want to show that, right? If you don't point out that I'm sick, I won't tell you that you're not a good practitioner. That's just, well, you're sick. That's not my problem. So the question then becomes, let me ask you, are you interested? And I believe you are probably interested in long-term results. What do you think is keeping you from getting the long-term result you've been seeking? Because it's otherwise, the second they work with you, guess who they get to blame now?
Absolutely.
Right? That's why in my coaching and my sponsoring of people, I had the 3 questions and the 21 reasons. Have you done the 21 reasons ever with somebody after they said, yes, I want to get started, the 21 reasons in 5 minutes?
I did a long time ago, and then I didn't turn it into a habit.
Did it work?
Thank you for that reminder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it yeah, of course
yeah,
it
it
works.
worked.
Yeah. Because now when they say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 9, is that still important? Sassafrassa, riggedy, riggedy, right? It's just like you as a parent with the kids. You said you were going to do your homework. So part of it, and part in the pre-interview is, my goal is to hold you accountable to your success. I can only hold you accountable to the level of success you desire. So if your desire is weak, the results are going to be weak, aren't they? And so who, if you had to point a finger at somebody, who would you blame for weak results? Me or you? Now, if you're pointing at me, there's still 3 pointing back at you. So, and this is where they're not your client now. And there's a lot of I'll speak for myself. There's a lot of people who I brought into the industry who I wish I would have had one more question to ask them. I don't know what the question was, but I wish I had one more question, because they just too much work. They sold me that they were going to do it, and they were accountable, and they were teachable, and they were ready to go, and they had all the right words, and they had practiced this, and they had done this 100 times, and I'm ready to go, and I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to be your best client. It's Tuesday. Where are you? Well, so that's where the better questions are, how do we really define their DMP? That's what it all comes down to. Their definite major purpose, because we have a maybe major purpose. Well, you know, I'm go ahead.
That might have been all they've ever been allowed before, so they don't even know there's a definite versus a maybe.
Well, and the bigger thing is the question that I asked that everybody's eyes roll in their head and they want to like flip out and turn into, I don't know, whatever. So who's going to be jealous when you get healthy? Well, nobody. Well, that's a lie. Somebody's going to be, you have held this story for 20 years. You can't tell me that people don't know this is you. You show up healthy tomorrow. God grants you the miracle you've been praying for. What do people say? They're all going to start calling you lucky, aren't they? They're after the miracle and oh my God, this is a God's blessing and a hand on heaven and all this other stuff. Then they're going to start bitching about you, aren't they? You ready for that? You ready for that? That's because whether that story happens in a miracle in 24 hours or 24 months, they're still going to start complaining because you have changed their vision of you. When people say, have you lost your mind? What they're really saying is I've lost you in my mind. I can't find you. I can't find the story I have for you that's predictable, programmable, and presentable. That's the story of you that I've known for decades. What am I supposed to do now? Change the story? God, I don't want to work that hard. And you lose friends. So the way you have better questions is you show up with more clarity, and the clarity isn't for you. Clarity is for them.
Absolutely. Yep. That either or, I liked the binary. It reminded me of having toddlers.
Yeah.
And I had a few of those.
And here's the thing. Mentally speaking, if they're going to start this new program, they are in fact a toddler.
Right?
They are in fact a toddler. And yes, they have talent and skills and a toddler can only do toddler stuff. A toddler brain can only do toddler brain, but it has the capability to use all of the adult skills and talents to rapidly move from toddler to preschooler to preteen to teen to adult. The challenge is that when people quit, they quit with a toddler's brain.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a great question that popped into my head to ask somebody. So, odd question. So imagine so who's a recent challenging client that you had? Don't have to tell me about them, but just if you can think about them, right? They got some issues,
Okay.
some real world issues. Imagine you're that person. Now imagine I ask you this question. Hey, Amber, you know, this challenge you have, it's a couple of things. One, it's pretty intense. You've had it for a while. I'm curious, what are you going to title the book that you're going to write after you've been cured, after you've fixed it? What's the name of the book you're going to write? If you had to write a book, if Hay House comes to you, or some publishing house says, oh my gosh, you beat it. What's the name of the book?
I love that you added that caveat because the specific person, she would have said, oh, I would never be able to write a book. So when they come to her, that was a good caveat.
They
I'll
come to
add
you
that.
because everybody's talking about it. Few people beat it, but the ones who do don't really get their life back, and you're going to get your life back. You're working on these things. I'm curious if they came to you with a check for $1 million and they said, we'll interview you, we'll do all of the work. What would the title of the book be? And if they don't know, which they probably don't, and they're refusing to it, they're refusing to get well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, you realize if you can't come up with the title, you'll never come up with the solution.
Yep.
So that's how you ask better questions. You got to get in the right field.
Love it.
Because you're asking them based upon what you know you're capable, what you know their body's capable, because you've seen their body capable. None of this is strategy. It's all signal. All disease is signal. All 100% disease is signal. What are you talking about, Sean? I get a cold, that's signal? Yeah, because your immune system got weak. Your mind got, when do people get sick? When they're happy and healthy, or when they're stressed and exhausted? Your signal got weak. All disease, all finances, all relationships are signal. Period. End of story. You can't prove me wrong, because there's nothing to prove right. It's just signal. Everything. 100 dogs smell fear. Dogs smell signal. It's all signal. So the challenge is that you're at 700 hertz and they're at 50 hertz. They can hear it, but they don't know what to do with it because it doesn't vibrate into them. So we got to come down here and constantly ramp up their vibration to the solution. And they go, oh, I can feel it now. It's called a placebo and a nocebo. You know, a lot of people who show up in my clinic, in my wellness facility, have absolutely been taking a nocebo for the last 2 decades. What's a nocebo? Didn't matter what the solution was, is they were tied to their story and they just said, nothing works with me. If you've ever said nothing has worked for me, you are taking a nocebo. You wake up in the morning, grab the bottle of nocebo, and you take a handful of it and you go through your day. I'm here to stop that. You are addicted to nocebo.
That was really good.
Yeah, wasn't that good?
That was really good.
And the imagery that came to me is, we used to have a gentleman, and I'll think of his name in a minute. He was on the first nuclear sub that went under the polar ice cap. Bill McNally, there's his name. Bill McNally. He was a tough old son of a gun. And oh, I'm frozen. Can you all still hear me?
I was gonna, as soon as I could tell you, we can hear you. You're just,
Okay, good.
it's a really happy face.
It's a happy face. That's good. Bill McNally. And he would get up and he would go, we would bring in nuclear engineers and power plant. And I mean, the cream of the crop who thought they only pooped out Skittles. And he would open up, he would start off this training. We'd have 40 of these top industry classic world-class engineers. And he would start off and said, hey, listen, how many of you took your stupid pills today? We're going to go through some stuff today, and you're going to realize just how stupid you are. And I'm here to tell you, and that's how his presentation started out. You're stupid. Like, you open up, you grab, there's a bottle of smart pills and stupid pills, and every one of you walk out of the house with a handful of stupid pills. So that was the image that got me. He's going, oh, you grabbed the nocebo pills.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So that's where I came up in my consulting and said, make me your first, make me your last. I'm not going to do the one in the middle. So if this is your first time getting wellness treatments, you're in the right place. If this is your last time and you're done, you go, if this doesn't work, I'm done, you're in the right place. But if you're in the middle, I want to see if this works, let's not even get started. Because it works. I've done this for 20 years. It works. I don't need you to test it. So if you're okay with that, we should continue with the next part.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Give all the boys a hug.
I can find them all.
Yeah. Did Caleb get back?
Micah. Yep.
Micah.
Yep. Micah's back.
Okay, good. Is he happy
Yes.
he's back?
Oh, yes. Good.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous?
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Wheezy.
Oh, thank you for giving me a little German. That's all I know.
Wheezy. Guten Tag, Wheezy.
I so appreciated Amber asking about questions. I had an experience with a client actually, and I think I've been ruminating about it, and I thought, oh, I'm just ask Sean. I actually in our appointment, there was I had the question of I asked about the winds, and there was this going on and on about it was the same story, and I said, okay, stop. I've heard this story before. And I'm going to take ownership. I haven't been hard enough on you because this is you're back to the same story. And what have you done about it? Well, I didn't, I lost my notebook and I didn't, but we've had a break because he was doing some travel. And I went, okay, well, if you don't do the work, then I can't help you. Was that rude?
It's a truth, and sometimes truth hurts. The question is that when things like that happen and we get frustrated, it's time to switch the tables.
How do you mean switch the table?
So if you showed up to me for coaching and I said, oh, Wheezy, I lost my notebook, I don't know if I can coach you today.
Oh,
Would you feel?
yeah. I wouldn't feel like you cared any at all.
Okay. So I'm showing up and you're not showing up to be coached. How do you think I feel?
That's how I felt.
Cool. And so do you think this is a good relationship?
Okay.
I'm showing up, you're not showing up ready. My question is when are you going to be ready? How long do you want to own this story? Because here's what I will know is that if our relationship dissolves, the next person you'll talk to is you'll say the last coach I showed up to, they couldn't help me. And I hope you ask for a reference because I'll let them know. Here's why I couldn't help you.
Okay, so that's I didn't say that. I just said, if you don't do the work, I can't help you.
The key is that they've never done the work.
That's
So and this is what I learned through years of coaching. If they've never done it, you telling them they haven't done it just proves, well, I can't do it. So that's why I switched the tables on them. I go, so if you showed up to me and I said, geez, I don't know. Wow, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. How would you feel? I lost my notes on you. You think I'm really not committed to the relationship, right?
right.
So then the question is that, I guess the tough question is are you willing to commit to this relationship? Because this isn't the first time I've had to kind of scold you. And I don't listen, I ain't your mother, I ain't your sister, I ain't your scolder. You asked me to do something. I do take pride in my work. And the pride is you move forward. You have some ahas. We can't have ahas if you got an empty page. Do you want to have some ahas? When is enough enough?
Interesting. I have to tell you what just came to me. And that was my understanding that I have been kind of pussyfooting around, and I didn't like it, and I let him know, and I've been asking myself why, Louise, and it was they wouldn't be my client anymore. And I went, okay.
Well, ain't your client now.
Then that's you're thinking about yourself, Louise. You're not thinking about about the, being of service to him.
Mhm.
It just came to me right now. I'm like, ooh, there's the answer. So I'm glad I started this. Because I was like, ugh, I could hear that's not an old story. That's your story. That's your now story. You've been wanting it to, you said you wanted it to be an old story.
Well, and here's the other thing. This is no different than you being asked to stand up on the airplane and be recognized as the VIP. The feeling is the exact same.
You're right.
You don't want to be seen.
You're right. I feel much
It's not that you
bolder
lost
now,
you
having worked with
you
you.
can't lose a client if they were never yours.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So thank you for that. I love that reverse. That makes total sense.
My dad was a genius. They always said he would be the most, he would take Johnny Cochran to the woodshed as an attorney. And my dad never studied law, but his ability to ask questions and not get rattled by the heat of having to ask questions. That's where I learned it from.
Well, and thank you, Mr. Murphy Sr., because we are benefiting from that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he was brutal. And no, his demeanor was always like this, but he could ask the most brutal things. So how's that working? If you were if I was the salesman and you were the sales manager, what would you keep me on if I had that similar performance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that eye-opening.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Always
And,
learning, always loving it.
and the reason that you reverse it like that is because they're in their shame. I didn't do it. That's my story. I never do it. I've never done it, but I'm not going to tell you that. I lost. Oh, I'm so stupid, right? I'm blah, blah, blah. And they're beating it. That's the shame story. So take them out of shame and take them into ownership. Well, let's reverse the rules. You show up all gang ho, gun ho, ready to go. You got your work all done. And then I'm like, I don't know if I can coach you today. I don't have your notebook. How would you feel?
That is absolutely going to be done. Because that I love it. Of course, it didn't, not of course, it didn't occur to me. This is a great lesson. Great.
And it just proves they always have the answer. You can't teach them anything they don't want to learn. They already know the answer. It's just nobody's asked them the question to get a better answer.
Right.
That's I guess that would be if I were to say, what's your genius? Is I get you to answer the question you're afraid to ask. Wait, what? Say that again. I get you to answer the question you're afraid to ask.
Wow. And that comes from practice.
Yeah. Ain't my 50th rodeo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much appreciate you. Love you so much.
Love you too. Thank you.
And you're having an outstanding day.
I'm
right?
having an outstanding day.
Awesome.
This is
And
my
did you
Hard
get
Rock
the,
shirt
did you get
from
the
Rome.
tractor? I mean, the mower part?
No,
Oh,
I got the part, but he didn't get it fixed yet, so it hasn't come back yet.
so the grass continues to grow.
Yes.
And then you'll be able to see where you were and how beautiful.
Oh,
It'll be so much better.
There'll be hay in the fields.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous? I'm going to react to my own conversation. All right, everybody. I hope today the understanding the power of questions, absolutely incredible. And the question is sometimes the best question is to ask, hey, listen, what question would you like to ask that you haven't asked? Or what question would you like me to ask you that nobody usually asks you? And you'll be amazed at how their brain opens up to give you permission to be more inquisitive into their life. My conversation is when I meet somebody that's kind of spectacular. Say, hey, listen, and I know I'm never going to meet them again. If we never met again, I hope that's not the case. What's the one thing, the one big thing you would want me to know about you that most people don't know? Because we're never going to meet. You can tell me anything. What's the thing you'd want me to know about you that most people don't know? And that's a great icebreaker because they feel this connection to tell you something that's very special about them. I had one woman, I told you it was, I was with CEOs, where I was met with a company in Utah, and they took me to breakfast, and I asked that to the waitress, and she said, oh, that I like money. I go, nah, I don't think that's the real thing. I said, there's something bigger, and when it hits you, come back. And about 20 minutes later, we were drinking coffee, we had finished our breakfast, and she was just standing there. I don't remember her name, Elizabeth something. It was a very biblical name. I said, Elizabeth, can I help you? She said, I found out what I liked. I wanted to tell you that most people don't know. I love plants. And it happened to be springtime. I said, really? What's your favorite plant? And she said, I love mums or azaleas or something. I go, is there a store between here and home that you know that has azaleas or plants on? They have them in the garden area. She said, yes. I said, how many plants, if you were to get the plants, how many plants would you want to get today to plant? She said, 3. And I gave her $20. I said, with that covered? She said, oh my gosh. I said, I'm buying your plants today. Will you promise to send me a photo of them when you plant them? That was the best tip she ever, because now every time she looks at those plants, who does she see? And those plants could still be alive. That was a decade ago. So what's that thing you'd want me to know about you that most people don't know? You'd be amazed at what people will tell you. Because it takes away their shame. It's something they're proud of. And you get to be a witness to it. I've heard some incredible stories. Anything else? Any last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? What'd you learn? What'd you like? Okie dokie. Artichoke. I don't know where that came from. All right, everybody, go have a great day. Have some fun. Be curious. And see what you can find out about people. And go have some more fun. I'm your head brain training. Ask better questions. Get better answers. Misfit. I'll see y'all where? Killer.
At the next event.
See you at the next event. Love it, love it, love it. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias. Peace be with us all. And the queen of helping you find your keys and questions, Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss.
Hey, Molly. Boss Lee. And a little white fluffy. Gurgly.
Keep some pinching Caleb's.
Hey, Jordan, go do some pull-ups.
Oh, Jordan, Sean just said go do some pull-ups.
Go do some pull-ups.
Oh, he's going. There he goes.
Okay, I want to see 3. All right, everybody. Love you tons. Bye for now.